Hello and welcome to this podcast show. And today I am joined by none other than Pratika Rawal. I think you have already known that how important role she played in our first ever Women's ODI World Cup win. And obviously the end was not that good, obviously, the unfortunate injury. But for me, I think she played a pivotal role in that World Cup. So welcome to the show, Pratika.
Thank you.
So Pratika, first question from that World Cup only. Obviously, as I mentioned, that the unfortunate injury, both me and Trishadi were there. We were watching that, the Bangladesh game, that unfortunate injury happened, but ultimately won that World Cup. You have been part of that World Cup triumph. How that just feel now, right now, that you are you're the first, you're a part of that team that won the first ever Women's ODI World Cup.
See, so as a child, I always, dreamt of representing the country, and to be able to be in the squad of the World Cup, I think that's cherry on top. But as you rightly mentioned, it was a very unfortunate injury. I'm not usually one who shows a lot of emotions, but at that moment, I was in a lot of pain. People could see me scream, which is very unusual. But at the same time, as I mentioned earlier, it was a roller coaster of emotions. I was happy and sad at the same time to be able to not play in the semis and the finals, which was a pretty huge deal for me. But luckily, I had a very good support system besides me. My dad was right there. My coach came in between, so I had good people around me, I had good company around me. And coming back to the team, I think what they did in the World Cup final was tremendous. It goes without saying. It was, it was years of hard work, not just by our team, but years of, Mithali Dee's hard work, Julian Dee's hard work, and a lot of legends that, have played this game before us. And I think one of the best memories that I'm going to cherish for my whole life was Mithali Dee, Julian Dee, and Reema Dee was there. And they lifted the trophy. And I think celebrating their success and our success at the same time will be the one thing that's going to stay with me forever.
Absolutely. And I was lucky enough to be there beside the boundary lines to witness this. But as you mentioned, what we saw, of this team, Pratika, that very happy dressing room. I think the management have done a superb job. I think throughout that World Cup campaign, all the matches, all the practice sessions they have witnessed, so much fun and competitiveness also.
Right.
So your view on that, the overall, Amul Mujumdar sir and Captain Harmanpreet Kaur and the whole management team, how they have managed to build that atmosphere, the culture.
So it's a very light-hearted atmosphere in the dressing room. I still remember when I came into the Indian team, I was very skeptical of how the seniors will behave because you hear these kind of conversations. Will they bully me or will there be any pranks? But as I stepped into the dressing room, it felt like I'm playing a domestic match. Like I could not see any boundaries. I could not see any disparities between us. I still remember Smriti Di came up to me and I was sitting down and I stood up out of respect. And then Jimmy said, "Chala pair chu." So it was like fun. I never felt like I'm playing with seniors. I never felt that this is a different kind of a dressing room. The atmosphere, yes, we do have our banters. We do get competitive at times. There are a lot of competitive fielding sessions in which we get ourselves into different
bowlers
teams.
Versus batters matchup.
Yeah, that happens a lot of times, and we as batters we win every time.
Yes,
I'm telling you that.
Yesterday obviously Sneha mentioned the other way around, that bowlers.
Yeah, so you see the banter. So that's how lovely this team is. That's how lovely this atmosphere. When we play inside, you can see the trust in each one of us. Because we know our teammates inside and out. We know that they are good human beings. We are there for each other. Even after those 3 consecutive losses, we were there for each other. Yes, we did have a lot of conversations, upfront conversations, but we never lost hope. We still thought that we're in this World Cup. We can win this World Cup. We have the capabilities to win this World Cup. And given it was the home World Cup, we had a lot of support from the crowd. I mean, the crowd was extremely supportive. I still remember I was playing the New Zealand match. I was not getting decent runs in the beginning. The wicket was playing a bit differently, and this whole section behind me, this whole section, and they started cheering Pratika, Pratika, and it gave me a different kind of confidence. So I think those are the perks when you are playing a home World Cup, and I think it crossed it was a record breaker viewership.
I think in that World Cup so many times records broken.
So I think the crowd whenever you go, I think Jemmy mentioned in one of her interviews that wherever we go, we do see Indian faces. Even in Perth, when we were playing the Australia series, we do see our people, and we do see those cheers. We do see those prayers happening for us. So I think.
Yes, absolutely. I will come to the Australia series, but before that, how good has been the batting with Smriti Mandhana? I think your opening pair with her have been superb. The starts that we have been getting in the ODIs have been superb. So how good have been batting with her?
It's like a fairy tale, She bats so tremendously. I mean, sometimes you're in awe. I still learn a lot from her, whenever I said this in one of the interviews that I've got the best seat. I'm on the non-strikers end, and I see her bat so effortlessly, and then I think to myself, am I doing anything wrong? How is she doing so effortlessly? But that's how, you progress. She has given a lot of time into the sport, and, she has taken women cricket to the next level. And, same goes for Harmandeep.
Yes.
Whenever you see them bat, I feel like I'm in Disneyland. You learn a lot of things, not just in the match, in the practice sessions as well. You see them carry themselves. You see how, they're taking those losses. What are the different ways, you can assess the situation better. There are a lot of things which doesn't relate to cricket as per se, but there are a lot of things that you have to take care about. The atmosphere, how the wicket is, what's the power score on this wicket. So there are a lot of learnings, and I think the more I play with them, the more I'm going to learn.
Yes, absolutely. Now let's talk about that phase, that tough phase, the injury, the recovery and everything. How tough it was, Pratika? Because obviously, as we talked about, missing those important games. But again, that World Cup win, maybe that went well. But after that, the WPL was there where you got picked, but unfortunately, you couldn't play off that injury because the injury. Fortunately, you get fit and you got to play that, the Australia series that happened. But how tough that phase was, from your perspective?
To be very honest, it was tough. I mean, I will not lie. As a player, you never want to go through these things. But it goes without saying it has happened with a lot of players. Luckily, around me, I had a lot of emotional support. My family was right besides me. My dad was there, as I mentioned earlier. Also, I had a lot of cues from the players. I was in COE for a very long time. I was there for 1.5 months. And there were a lot of players as well. I had heartfelt conversations with them, how they have felt, when they were injured. And they told me very insightful things. They told me not to rush. They told me not to think ahead of myself. Every progress counts. Even that one range that you're getting is a plus. So, I've never, faced an injury before. This was my first time, and I hope it's one of the last.
Finger crossed.
So, but yes, even though I've studied psychology, nothing worked for me. I was, looking for that support. Luckily, my coach was with me 24/7. I didn't want to go anywhere. But that's how you build your character. But that's how you learn a lot of things. And in sports, I think you have to learn things the hard way. And I can assure you, this injury has made me a better person. It has made me much more calmer. It has made me, much more patient. It doesn't excite me, those massive outcomes that I get, because I know they will come if I do the process right. So I just look at what's the next step for me. So in a lot of ways, it has its own perks and own disadvantages, but it did help me.
But that was my next question only, that did the psychology part help you in that part? But as you mentioned that
I tried a lot, to be very honest. In the ideal world, I think it will help. But when you're facing such it's a different. But yes, a lot of things did help me. It's always good to let your emotions out, which is another thing in which we have been taught in psychology. You should let your emotions out. You should deal. It's okay to be sad. That's what I feel. You're allowed to be sad. You don't have to be happy all the time. And I think achieving happiness, I think that's not ideal. You can't be happy all the time. That's a far-sighted dream. So it's okay to be sad. It's okay to cry at times. I'm not shy, in showing my emotions, and I've showed it a lot of times to my coach. I've got in fights with my mother as well because I was so irritated. I could not, step out of my bed. I needed that support from her, and I was dependent. So yes, a lot of emotions went by, but luckily the people around me were very patient, much more patient than me, and they kept saying, things will get better for you, and it did.
Yes, absolutely. Okay, enough on the injury part. Let's put that part now back to cricketing. But did this psychology part help you adapting the the pressure of international games quickly? Because you were I think one of the few players who got a fantastic start to the international career when it comes to stats and number the way you started. So that part helped you adapting the pressure quickly.
Yes, it does. There are a lot of techniques that you can use. I take visualization very seriously. So a good thing about me that I can visualize stuff very precisely. So I do see myself, scoring a 50 or maybe 100 before even the match has started. So that part, a lot of things, how to deal with anxiety, how to deal with, social interactions is, after the loss, how you have to. So the first thing is to accept. Am I accepting it? Just like what happened to me in the injury part. So the first thing was to accept. Okay, fine, I've got injured. Yeah. Now what's the next step? So acceptance, I think, is one of the most difficult things as a person, because in your mind you're feeling ऐसा कैसे हो गया?
Exactly.
Because in your mind you live an ideal life. So in psychology there's an ideal self and there's a real self. So when there's a difference between those two, then you start facing problems. So I think psychology does help me a lot of times because I am familiar with the concepts. I know these emotions are normal. I know that it's okay to vent out. It's okay to rant at times. But the important thing is to come back again. The important thing is to just tell yourself, just try one more time, and that's what I do. Okay, fine. This day did not go by my way, but what if the next day will? So
yeah. Was there any regret that you couldn't play the WPL because you got picked and you visited I think few games for
so I went there for the first match. Unfortunately we lost that match, but yes, I wanted to play. See, as a player you never want to miss any games, and luckily my body responded really well, and I'm really grateful to the people in COA. They managed me so well that I was back on track before time. All thanks to DJ sir, Dhananjay sir, Rajni sir, who took care of me, and all the staff there. It's a beautiful facility there. I must say, I'm not saying it like that, but it's definitely a beautiful facility there. So I think, yes, I won't say there are regrets, but yes, I did feel bad. That I missed the WPL. Yeah. But see, as I said earlier, you have to accept, and then you have to move on.
Yes. Any interaction Abhishek Nair had with you regarding your role or something if you were about to play or something?
I did meet him and we had a lovely conversation, and he told me how much he wants to be involved in this game. This is one thing that he has taken up recently. So we shared a lovely conversation. Even Meg Lanning was there. We were talking about cricket in India and in Australia. So it was a lovely conversation. Because I was not playing, we did not talk about the roles, but maybe in the future we will.
Yes, absolutely. Okay, let's talk about the Australia series that happened. Obviously, fantastic start to the tour. We won the T20 series,
right.
But unfortunately, things happened in the ODI series. We didn't win. Any specific thing that you guys thought that went wrong for you in the ODI series?
So first in the batting, I think like in the last 1.5 years, we were getting pretty decent starts.
Yes.
I think that was one thing which lacked in this series, especially. After that, I think a lot of things did not go our way. Even in the bowling, we did not bowl to our strengths, and I think that's the beauty of this game. That's the beauty of this game. You win and you lose at times, but the important thing is to strike back again, to have that belief in your teammates. That whenever we're given an opportunity, we're going to bounce back.
Yes. And now let's talk about the test match, a historic test match, pink ball test. But I have to say, what a knock that was in the last innings from you, that 50. I think the way you were playing, soft hands, playing the ball, and superb. How satisfied you were with that knock? Why are you satisfied? Because I thought that you would have wanted to score more. But yeah.
See, more than me scoring more, I wanted the team to win. At least we could have drawn the game. You know, that was what was going in my mind when I was playing the evening session, the last session that we were playing on day 2. I was thinking to myself, you know, I have to bat long. I have to bat long, no matter what. But unfortunately, we kept on losing wickets. I just wished that Rana Di could have, you know, gone a bit more. She was playing very nicely.
That partnership.
Yeah. So even the like Australia, as we all know, is one of the best opponents that you face. But our team has that capability to, you know, outpass any bowlers, any bowling attack. But as I said, some things sometimes doesn't go your way. I'm not satisfied. Still not satisfied with my score. I think I could have scored more for the team, not just for me, but for the team. My dad, I think, when I came back, he said, "पूरा क्यों नहीं बैटिंग किया? वो क्या शॉट था लास्ट में?" तो वो घर पे मिलता है वैसा बीच में, because he loves cricket. Even my coach, she loves cricket, and they just want to see India win. It doesn't matter if I'm on the finishing line, if I'm there in the middle. They just want to see India win, and that's their main goal, and that's what they have taught me. You know, however you're feeling, you know, even if you're feeling sad, even if you're feeling happy, even if you're not motivated, you just have to do whatever you can for the team. You have to contribute in every sense, not just in batting. If you're given an opportunity to bowl, you have to take wickets. So when you're groomed in that way, everything becomes so clear. And I think, like I would love to thank my parents and my coach. You know, they have, you know, raised me well, and I'm very happy that, you know, whenever I feel a bit sad, I can talk to them, and then they bring me back to track.
Yes.
ज़्यादा सोच रही है, रुक जा.
Okay. Last question.
Right.
A small one. That any particular bowler that you have think, okay, you have faced, you know, tough time so far in your career.
So I feel like every bowler has a different day. So on different days, every bowler, there's one bowler, okay, day that is bowling beautifully.
You are getting trouble.
So I think Annabelle Sutherland in the test match was bowling perfect lines.
Superb.
I think she bowled one ball to me and I left it because I thought it's gonna go aise piche, and it hit me into the pads. And I'm like, oh shit! I did not play that ball, and I was just hoping कि height हो जाए. I kept my fingers crossed. So I think Annabelle Sutherland was bowling perfect lines that day.
Sure. Yeah. And then we all saw that Sophia Ecclestone moment in that England tour. One of your favorite bowlers.
No, I think she's a very talented bowler. She's one of the legends of the game, and she bowls beautifully, and she's in my team now.
Exactly, in WPL.
So we're in the same team.
Yeah, teammates. Okay, thank you, Pratika.
Thank you so
for
much.
joining in. Lovely chat. And please, guys, share and subscribe the channel. Thank you.
Thank you.